Hello and a very good evening. I am Ankit Chaudhary and I would like to welcome all of you to another episode of Where It Goes, a one of its kind live talk show where we try to explore answers from various industry professionals about the current scenarios and where do we go from here. At the same time, we try our bit to learn from these experts and their experiences that they share with us. To be honest, over last 3 weeks, this show has modified in terms of its guests, the kind of content we talk about, the kind of topics we're interacting on, our knowledge base. We are evolving. And if you go to see our first two, three episodes and compare them to our discussion today, you will notice our evolution very clearly. What I'm trying to say here is that change is happening and it's happening at a much larger scale and a greater speed than we would have imagined. We all are prone to it and we do evolve, but this is more like a forced evolution that we all businesses are going through. Probably nature was saying we were too slow earlier. Today, I have a guest with us who has helped a lot of businesses to evolve. Today, we have with us Mr. Shanthan Malashetter S. He is your business doctor, and we very much need a doctor for our businesses because they are suffering. Mr. Shanthan is a business analyst and a strategic consultant. He is the founder director of iSpeak Corporate Services Pvt Ltd. He is also the director at Red Satin Events Pvt Ltd. He is the non-executive director at HIPL Pvt Ltd and FISMAC Global Pvt Ltd and a corporate consultant for various industry verticals. He also conducts a lot of workshops and help a lot of businesses, small and big, to grow and evolve. And getting in conversation with him today, I am going to attempt to get some clarity that from here where it goes. Please welcome Mr. Shanthan Malashetter S with us. Very good evening, Shanthan. How are you?
Hey, hi, good evening. How are you?
I am good. I'm good. In midst of lockdown, trying different things. So yeah, I'm feeling great. You tell me, you are somewhere near Bangalore, I know, and that is apparently a much better place to be as of now.
True, true, very true. It's amazing here. I'm in my native, and I think it's making well. As of now, we are on green. So rather than saying I'm better, only can say that when the business turns green is when we'll be happy because that makes more difference
Exactly.
than any zone or a personal issue as such.
Absolutely. See, as I said, a lot of businesses are suffering, and we need someone like you to help us clarify certain things. So I'll jump directly to my questions without wasting any time. My very
Please.
first query to you is over last 40, 50 days, right? A lot of experts from various industries have been speaking about this new normal that all businesses and work will have to follow, saying that work will change, the methodology will change, the sales and marketing will change, the business models will change. But there are two issues in this. One that we observed, a lot of these experts come from these big MNCs and companies and talk from their point of view, which does not apply to a smaller company with say 7 or 10 or 15 employees. Also, there has been so much of talking that now it is becoming confusion. What is
Very true.
exactly going to happen. So I want you to help us with little clarity on this so-called new normal and how things are evolving and how things are changing in the, especially for the smaller businesses like.
Very true, Ankit. I think, as you rightly said, that most of the time we speak and we are focusing upon MNCs or a large size company. And for
Right.
your quick statistic to just give it, there are more than 52 million SMEs in India alone, which is accounting to around 37% of GDP. Now, the question is, they are the backbone, irrespective of what
Right.
we call, they are the backbone. And the
Right.
question is, what is that they're gonna get? Is it 20 lakh crore? No, I'm not gonna, talk on that. Why? Because that is more on the supply side of it. What am I doing to instigate the demand makes a lot of sense in today's scenario as
Right.
well. When such a big sector of SME is lying idle, now what makes difference to them is all that matters now, especially in this season. As you rightly said, a new normal has evolved, a new normal has cropped up, and now the question is, should we change or should we continue being the same, or is there any third alternative which helps us to continue the model of the business? So just to throw some light, age old statement what Charles Darwin stated once: it is not the strongest of the species that survive, nor the intelligent one. It is the one who's most adaptable to change is the one who can survive. At this junction, the statement holds so very good for the reason, if you still continue to run the show in the way you did, then in that case, I'm afraid to say it is not the great statement for us to continue. Because I always say one thing: if you do what you did, you'll get what you got. Now you need to change the way you need to work. Only then you'll be able to get a difference. So try breaking the stereotype. If at all you were running on a traditional style, break it. That is something which makes difference in today's scenario. And if you continue the same, no, that norm might not work out today.
See, I agree to your point completely. And before I come to what is these changes, I have another query from the Indian perspective. If you see, we Indians have been the most resistant to change since ever, right?
True.
We believe in working traditions in the way we used to work and things like that. So it is really going to be difficult for a lot of. So if you say there are 5.2 million SMEs, if my understanding is correct, more than 50% of these are run by people who are say 40, 45, 50 plus, and
True.
they will be highly resistant to change, and which will affect the overall the remaining 50% as well. How does someone deal with the situation in that scenario when you are ready to change but your surrounding is not changing?
Very true. I can only sense when you say about that, when 90s, when entire banking system changed into CBS, core banking, where the
Correct.
regular physical model has been converted into IT set, I was able to see the same difference then, where people used to come out and said that, no, I'm not ready to adjust. I don't want to change it. I have run this system for years together and I need to continue the same thing. And now today, if you look at it, not a single gentleman who made that statement is normal today, because they all converted and moved into CBS. In the same way, there'll always be a time in business which will ask you, are you ready to change? If you agree, it'll go along with you. If you deny, anyway it will go. The only thing is which matters is you will be left behind. So you need to wonder yourself whether you are being left behind or whether you're ready to run. No, it is not a rat race. No, it is not a case where why should I do when others are doing? No, that's not a case. It's about change in the system, change in the economy, change in the global market. When 1991, when LPG system was deployed, everyone were again resistant. But when MNCs came,
Right.
it was a hardcore difference between your domestic and international fight. But today, that has become a norm. So you need to understand, if today you do not change in the way the system is changing, then in that case, you'll be forced to change in future. So I will suggest for all those businessmen who still run their style in traditional way, no, you need to change yourself. If not, you'll be forced enough to change on that.
Now, the example that you gave me of the banking systems gives me two more questions, and arise of another confusion in the mind. Now, to happen, for that change to happen and become a normal today, it took almost a decade. The entire 90s were the period of transformation, and when
True.
2000s came, is when we were almost ready to adapt to fine. This is now happening. So, is that the kind of timeline we can see? We can even afford now, because now if we say that we will change over next 5 years, say not 10 or even 2 years, I think a lot of survival questions jump up. So as I said, it's like a forced evolution that we are being subjected to.
Correct. Maybe Ankit, I can put in this way, where I was listening to Gary last week, where he was saying when we were in 80s and 90s, the turnaround time of a business model, or the change, what we call, used to take between 10 to 12 years, almost a decade. That is, once in a decade, the change used to happen. And between 2000 to 2010, that was shrink to 6 years. And now between 2010 to 20, every 3 to 4 years, the change is happening. If you don't adopt yourself, or if you don't adapt yourself, then you will be left behind. So that is the speed at which we are going. Now, whatever change you spoke about 90s, then we had a decade to change ourselves and to
Right.
progress with. But in today's sense, within next 3 years, if at all you don't change the system, trust me, you will be vanished from the system. It's going very fast. It's being so aggressive. The only question is, Will you be with them, or will you be all alone left behind? So that is the speed at which it is going on. So now the question is for you, whether how are you trying to take it, and whether you're running. Just to give an example, someone was asking, then what is the most important thing which I need to do now, which makes difference now? So I can simply say that change your business model, change in the way you work it. Should I change my entire business? No, there's not required for you to change the business, but change the way you need to run the business. For example, I'll take your case. When events business, everyone are trying to say that we have reached a dead end. You tried to come out like a flying bird from ash, and you came in such a bounce back that you started with your series of echo events with where it goes, and you started divulging yourself into the new system. It means those who are ready to change has a system even today, even in events. That is what you tried doing it. That is exactly what we are trying to speak about. Build a model. Now when we question about model, again the question comes out, bounce back is what is that you're trying to see. Simple logic. Right from Ramdev Baba until Ali Baba, everyone had a super business model. That is the only reason which they are successful. Now if you also believe in that model, that is when you will be able to take ahead. Now, yeah, last time I remember when I was speaking about this, someone said even Kingfisher had a model. Yeah, I spoke about successful business model. Kingfisher, the problem is they had only models. There was no business model in it. So because of it, they were not able to elevate themselves and grow. That is exactly where we say change the way you run the business and change your business model.
Yeah, I agree totally with you. But another question that I get when I discuss, about modifying or changing business models is with a lot of people in my fraternity as well, and apart from my fraternity. Does this mean we need to really restart from scratch? Because I'll give you an example here with my own industry or my own company. I am a hardcore on ground person. So to transform myself from an on-ground system to a digital system, I had to learn everything from the scratch. So how to place this logo on the screen that you see right now, or which service is right. So it was like learning everything that we used to do. So is it about just redesigning a business model, or is it about start learning things from scratch and building it back again?
Good question. Nothing starts from scratch because you already built an empire. But when you are falling or crashing in the market, the only thing which sustains is your consistent learning. Because obviously, we know that someone who's educated is never educated if he stops learning. So whatever you
Right.
did, that is no way sufficient. Now you need to relearn and unlearn what you have learned. So it doesn't mean that you need to change your basic operation. I'm only trying to say that rebuild your system in which you're working. Change the way you're trying to perform in business. That makes whole lot of difference than running the show in the way which you ran earlier. When you
Right.
spoke about it, how to change that? Should I start from scratch? No, let me give an example. There is a client of mine who we cater from Malaysia. So this is a client when he wanted to enter Indian market. So he had a detailed understanding about, look, maybe somewhere in Jan we gave a structure for them, how you need to enter Indian market, how you need to enrich yourself. They were into the field of medicine. Now obviously medicine was a field which is a super arena in today's sense.
Correct.
Now,
Right.
obviously, when they are such a required node, I'll say you that company is not performing well even today. Now, obviously, the question arises then why? The reason what I'm trying to say is just because you are a necessity doesn't mean you'll flourish. Just because you
Right.
are not required in the market doesn't mean you are thrown into the garbage. So you need to know how you need to come out of it. Now, being in events industry, you were able to flourish. Being in medicine industry, they are crashing. So that is exactly where I'm saying that it is not about the products which are necessity. It's about the solution which you're trying to give it. Let me clarify in this way. If you are trying to sell your products, or if you are trying to sell your service even today, trust me, you will fail again. Then what is that we need to do? Try selling a solution. Again, I repeat, try selling a solution to the problem what your customer is facing. The day you sell a solution to your problem, the client's problem, they want you back. You turn your business into necessity. The day you are forcing yourself to sell a product or service, you become one of the pushy salesmen. So I don't want you
Right.
to be a salesman selling a product or service, but look what is the value which you can create in your customer hand. That is when you will be able to come back and flourish in the market. So
Right.
I suggest
I'll come.
start looking at with
Hmm.
all your customers what is that value which you can create at this junction of the business when things are collapsing.
On that note, I'll take one more side question that comes to me when I discuss with this with a lot of people. So the employees set that we have already, right? They have a particular skill set.
True.
Now, since the model is gonna change, the required skill set is gonna change. Now,
Correct.
some employees probably will be able to change their skill sets and modify with time, while some are so, especially at the lower level, they are so what you say used to that particular work, they probably will not be able to change. What will happen to that segment of employees?
That's a nice question. So it is like saying this way: most of them die not because they have some incurable disease, but just because they didn't take a right precautions. Now, even today, that statement holds good. Those employees, I can only say that just because you are good at something, don't stop there. You need to learn. Now, you were speaking about those skilled employees in a field. When I'm trying to change the model, I'm not changing the business as such. So it means my business still continues to be the same. Only the way I portray, only the way I enter the market and deal with it is changing. It means that my same old employees are still worth, provided you are trying to learn yourself to the today's sense. You are trying to equip yourself. So those employees who are playing around, having fun, and always believe that let me believe in being seated and get everything, no, for them it is right time to say that it is, you need to leave the organization or you're forced to leave the organization. So those employees who took extra efforts, beyond considering the timeline, beyond considering their effects, they are the one who can sustain and grow even today. So I can say from an employee prospect, unless you tune yourself, even people do want to take you and hire you back to the organization.
Great. I'll come to my second part of the entire confusion that we guys have, which
Please.
is the timeline. Now, some think
Okay.
it is temporary, a few months, and then we are back to normal. Some say it is quite a long run, 2 to 3 years, and then probably things will go back to the way they were. And
Correct.
some think it's a permanent thing, that the change will happen for a permanent thing, and there's no going back. What do you think is gonna be happening?
Good. So I can put this question in this way: how long this can sustain, or how long should I change, or how long it may go? Uh, if I answer, then I'll become an astrologer. So I don't want to answer that. Then what are we predicting? I'm only predicting one thing. Few months before, when I was talking to one of my client, I asked him how is business. I'm sure that most of our entrepreneurs who are listening will have the same question. When I asked them how is business, they said, "Sir, seriously, it's worst." And today I asked them, how is your business? He's saying that, sir, actually, it was better then. Now I able to see what do you mean by the word worst today. I'm actually saying one thing to you. Don't worry, this is not worse as such. This is only bad. Worse is about to come. You're not even experienced it. We are just on the tip of an iceberg, and we are going to experience the worst scenario going forward. Then is it right time to start business, continue business, or stop it? No. As I said, this may extend. Already WHO has given a statement yesterday stating that start living with corona. Still date they were saying that corona just get lost. Now they are saying start living with it, because this is not gonna stop any more time in the near future. It may run up to 6 months or 1 year. You can't say that I'll be locked down or I'll stop my business for 6 months or 1 year, because you'll crash completely. So it means you need to
Right.
learn living with it, deal with it, and continue. So it may go to 6 months or 1 year or 2 year. My question is, why would you require a timeline? You require a timeline when something is going to end. But there's no concept of end after WHO has given such a statement. So when something is not ending, when they've already declared you to learn to live with it, why would a timeline come into picture? Only thing which matters is now you need to be aggressive and run the way you run it. It is like asking, when will you die? Why should I ask when will you die? The only question is, you are surviving up to 60 or 80 or 100 years. So until 60, earlier until 100 they were ready. Now until 60 they'll be aggressive, and they started preponing their retirement to 50. And you'll not believe, last 2 months before when I was in an event, a person was saying, Mr. Nelson, I believe, he was saying, when is your retirement? Somewhere by 35, 40 I'll retire. The world has taken a retirement age for the reason they gave a deadline as 60. Had there not been a timeline of 60, I would have been aggressive until 60. So
Right.
asking a timeline, I'll say for every entrepreneur, never think about a timeline. When will it revive? It won't revive. Then what can change? You can change. It is like those things which is not under your control, don't try to control it. Those things which you can't control, leave it aside and then work with something which you can control. The only thing which you can control is your business. Control that.
So that's a brilliant point, but I tell you why the question of this timeline comes to mind. The thought behind that is, for example, I modified my business. Okay, I changed my business and I evolved. What if, say, 6 months down the line, things opened up, everything goes back to the way it was, and my clients want me to do exactly what was happening before, and the modification that I brought in these 6 months becomes irrelevant. That
True.
is the doubt with which the timeline question comes.
So in that case, you believe that this is your starting point. Do not even consider that what happened. So jo ho gaya so ho gaya. So it is done and dusted. So no more bringing back the same question asking, because consider this is a restart of your business, and consider reviving and reliving your business so that you will relive your business. If not, you will be taken out of the system completely. So with respect to the timeline, minimum next to 6 months to 1 year, it's going to be much more worse. Assume next 1 year, it's going to be worse. Now the question is, what is that you're going to do for next 1 year defines how is that you're going to change in next 20 years. So it means next 1 year is super crucial to you. Those people who always said that I'm in luxury turns out to be semi-luxury. Those who said that I'm in semi, they're turning out to be on a poverty zone, is what I believe. So those who are aggressive and can change are the one who will turn out to be on a better scale. And that is exactly where I'm saying your timeline starts now. So in that case, how is that you're going to perform will make the difference. I'll
Agreed.
ask a
Now,
simple question, Ankit, to you. First, I will, have a
go ahead,
question
go
for
ahead.
you. When was the last time you watched a movie in a movie
Uh,
theater?
in a movie theater, that was February,
Feb. So, what was the frequency at which you used to watch?
twice a month,
Twice a month. When was the last time you got your health checkup done personally?
6 months back.
6 months. So, frequency of it?
Yeah, again, twice a year is what we normally do it for that time.
Correct. So, at least twice a year, or no less than at least once in a year, you will definitely do it. Correct. Now, a third and the last question: when was the last time your business got a health checkup done?
Never.
This is your health checkup time. The only reason why business are failing is because you didn't take a right health checkup, you didn't take a right precaution. We always thought that unless and until something goes wrong, I will not take medicine. That is the
Right.
problem with us. All the entrepreneurs will believe that let something go wrong. No, when we say that, sir, if you don't do this, it might impact in this way. The question, hone do na, baad mein dekhenge. So then how
Right.
do you think that you'll be able to rectify? That is a business health checkup you need to do once in a while. When you keep doing it, you know what is limping and what is not performing and what is not going well in the organization. Had you chopped that, today your business could have been much more streamlined. Unfortunately, that health checkup was not done. So that is the reason you're asking me what is the timeline, because we are trying to go back. No, a successful entrepreneur today will think that let it be for 6 months or 1 year or 2 year. Let me change the way I run the business and let it go on, and I'll be able to flourish back in the market. So for all those entrepreneurs today, the timeline, you only think that we are restarting now, and don't question how long it goes on. It may go for any time, but I can say one thing: for next 1 year, what you do defines who you are.
Right. So we have been talking a lot about that we need to change, we need to change, we need to change. Can you give us certain pointers on which we need to change? What are those things? What is the new normal that will happen and how companies can start changing? A few pointers to follow through.
Very good. So this is a core which I always talk about. I would like to state with something what IBM founder once said, that if you want to be a successful entrepreneur, then start behaving like a successful entrepreneur. Then what do you mean by the word behave? Most of us, we have a norm that when I turn my company with 1,000 employees, I'll start working in this way. When I turn my employee with 500 crores, I'll work in this way. The question is, if you work in this way, only then you'll be able to reach 500 crore. If you work in this way, is only then you'll turn out with 1,000 employees. It means you need to have a right system, process, and culture right from day one. That is when you will be able to grow and elevate yourself. So the question is, do you have a right system? Do you have a right process? Do you have a right culture? So if these three things are together, trust me, you will be able to grow and flourish. Now, obviously, you will come down to a question that then how can this be indulged? And what is that change which we need to bring in, which will make a difference? So for which I can simply pose one question to you, Ankit, so that that becomes an answer for everyone. How many hours you spend, time in operations of your business? When you are into
Most of
event
maximum,
business, if at
maximum
all you
time.
spend 8 to 10 hours a day, how many hours you will give it for operations?
Is almost 75% goes into operations.
Exactly. That is what every businessman does. That is where we try saying them, if you are most of your time, if you're spending in operation, where will your top management be free? And when will your top management will start thinking something big in business? So it means the first suggestion which I always give it to entrepreneurs is spend less time in your operation, so that you will have a lot of time for networking, building relationship, growing your organization, expanding, and thinking something new for your organization can happen when you're free minded, when you're not focusing completely on operation. That is the first thing which you start to do now. What happened, that has already happened. Now what you're going to do, ensure that you reduce your time in your operation and start rebuilding the relationship. Then how to build it? This is a time where you can create a network with your own set of people. Try going across to people whom you left earlier. Try contacting those customers which left you earlier. Try contacting those collaborators which you never touched earlier. This is a time reconnecting and rebuilding relationship. That is the first thing which I'll call it as a change today. The day if you are able to change yourself and reconnect with all this, will make a difference for you and your business. Unless and until you execute it, no, you will not be able to do it. So first thing, reconnect and rebuild your relationship is what I suggest. Second and the most important thing is, most of us will always say that whenever I ask what is that new thing which you're bringing in business, what is that something which will make a difference in your business, they all said that in my business, I'm trying to do different things. In my business, I'm trying to bring something. No, unless you are something really unique in your business, people will not come back to you. Most of us, what we do is we'll end up analyzing ourselves. What I suggest, the age-old DNA concept which our parents taught us, understand your competitor. Every time you used to score less, I'm sure that our parents and relatives compared with hell a lot of people and said that understand they're performing well. That ended there only. If you bring back that to business, understand why your competitor is better, maybe you'll be able to perform well. In fact, most of the times I always say for every entrepreneur, whenever someone says that my competitors are performing well, they're always good, they're aggressive, my question is, understand what good they did and what bad you did. What bad they're doing, what you can capitalize. If you are able to get this, then in that case, you are able to perform better than your competitor. So my second point for everyone who's listening is, make your competitor analysis so strong. You should know what your competitor is good at, then you will be able to perform. Most of us, come out with a statement, look, I have heard a lot of people saying that do not think what others are doing, think about yourself. That is right. But in today's aggressive market scenario, if you don't know what your competitors are doing, you'll be left behind. So the second thing, make a competitor analysis. If you are doing it, trust me, that makes a difference. And a third and the last point, can I?
Sure.
Yeah. So the third and
Yes.
the last point which I say is, most of them, if you call yourself a successful or a failure businessman, I'll say with one statement. I'll repeat, this statement is a bit confusing. So if you are able to understand what I'm saying in my first go, then you will be able to understand the formula why someone is successful, why someone is failure. Because most of the time we say that, I always fail in my business. I'm not performing well in my business, but my competitors are performing well. I'll give one statement that will define why you're successful or failure. If at all you're failing in business, the reason is, I repeat, the reason is you don't know what you know, and you don't know what you don't know. Simple. I'll repeat, if you're failure in business, you don't know what you know and you don't know what you don't know. The day you realize that, you will know why you are a failure. Then how to be successful? Simple. A successful entrepreneur is the one who knows what he knows and who knows what he don't know. So if you understand this statement, you will never be a failure again. You will turn out to be a successful person. So for you to be successful, you should know what you know and you should know what you don't know. That is exactly what I want you to do. How to do that? Only you know about it. About your business, about the culture, about the way you run. All that matters about what you know and what you don't know. Understand? These are the three areas where I exactly say you need to change yourself. So if you want to change, rebuild and reconnect with the relationships and those which were left out earlier. Second, you need to ensure that your competitor analysis is done. And a third and the important thing, you should know what you know and you should know what you don't know. That makes a difference complete.
Great. Those were some really amazing points, Shantanu, and it gave me a lot of food for thought, and I'll be thinking over it myself, and I'm sure all the listeners are also loving all this. I'll quickly take a few comments for everyone else to see. We have Likhit Nag who is saying very well said. We have Hari Haran saying excellent. It gave him a clarity. Hari Haran is also saying a very important thing, that it is an era of collaboration.
Very true.
And I was listening to a few more people very recently, and they were saying that only the businesses which are able to collaborate going forward and come together probably will survive. Any last
Very true.
thoughts? We are almost time, but yes, I do want to take your thoughts on these collaborative measures.
In fact, the session where generally I take between 2 to 3 hours, the one of the point which covers is on the collaboration, which I always say that in this 30 or 40 days of your lockdown time, if at all, I repeat, if at all, you have created at least 3 collaboration in the span of last 30 or 40 days, trust me, your business is going to take off very well. If not even 3 collaboration, understand where you went behind. Collaboration is the new future for it, because nowhere competition is the key. Because every time I see someone doing in my similar to my business, earlier I remember 10 years before, I used to think that they're my competitor, should I really talk? And today if he's my competitor, I'll be so excited to talk to him, because that is where a collaboration comes in. Then obviously a lot of businessmen come back and ask that, how can a competitor become a collaborator? Simple. I'll give a thumb rule to you how your competitor can become collaboration. Just for your example, in last 40 days, I have created 6 new collaboration, which has expanded me to different countries today. Now I'm able to get connected to at least 4 new countries, and 6 collaboration I have built in. Only logic how competitor can become collaborator. It's something which you can do again is, whenever you sit with your competitor, understand what and all services he provides and what are those services which you provide. For the reason, everyone seems to be competitor in today's world, but deep down there is something which only you do unique way, and there is something which your competitor does something unique. So you need to know it, how your competitor are different from yours, and that can happen when you go deep down the business understanding. Sit with your competitor, understand what they do and what they don't. What they don't is what is your collaboration. What you don't is your collaboration for him. If you are able to understand that gap, you'll be able to create a collaboration. And trust me, even if the lockdown continues, the only thing which I request to do is create collaborators. That is the only thing which you'll be able to grow and survive in future. Create a lot of collaborators. It's time for you to think and understand on that prospect.
Great. Thank you so much for that. Quickly, so we also have Vaini who is saying, hope we will start accepting the fact we don't know. We have Vineet saying an excellent session.
Thank
And we
you.
also have Anuradha Jain saying it was a wonderful session. So, Santhan, quickly before we leave the audience, if someone wants to reach out to you for their business, for your help, for your guidance, how can someone do that? Please help us with that.
That's nice. So basically, to just give a hint, at this junction of business, when a lot of business were collapsing, they were unable to change their model. They're unable to continue how the competitor analysis is done. So what I have built for this season, when the season began, we built something called as 99 parameter model. What we did was, every business, doesn't matter what kind of business, even with you or without you, that business can become successful. For which we have built a 99 parameter model in such a way, if all these 99 parameters are existing in your business, even without you, business is successful. If these 99 parameters are not there in your business, even with you, you'll become a failure in business. So that is something out of a lot of research, talks with different set of people, and an understanding with all these years of experience, we have recreated and rebuilt this model. So for those who want to understand and take it ahead, we'll be happy getting connected. So you can drop a message in our Facebook page, maybe in the chat box, or maybe on my personal window. We'll be able to get back to you. My team will reach you out, and then they'll get connected. So I'll be able to share my number as well, or on a Facebook you can get pinged. So we'll be getting back to you. So this season, this model is something, almost in last 40 days we have covered no less than 35 new business which we have already covered with, and that is something which I have helped them out into creating a new model. So if in case if you are interested, that is something which will be able to help you on that.
Can you quickly help us with the Facebook page name so I can put it out to all our audience?
Yeah, you can type Shanthan Malashetter, Shanthan Malashetter, Shanthan Malashetter.
Right. Great. So anyone can check out the page of Shanthan on Facebook itself. Drop him a message, and he'll be happy to answer your queries. And thank you so much, Shanthan. It was one of the finest conversations that I've had over last 12 episodes that we have done of Where It Goes. It was the 12th episode,
Oh,
and
that's
this was
nice.
an amazing, amazing conversation. And let's hope that we all are able to go through it, revive, and very importantly, as you said, can adapt to the changes that are coming our way.
That's nice.
Right? And
Amazing.
so
Thanks
thank
a
you.
lot, Ankit, for this opportunity to reach out people. Generally, I prefer not to go on YouTube or Facebook Live, so I kept myself away. But somehow you pulled me back, and again you have dropped in here. So I'm happy getting connected to a lot of members over here. I can just say with one last quote: if at all you believe that your business is going bad, or if you believe that somehow you are losing your confidence, it's time you guys meet us. The only thing is not everything turns out to be in money. There's a lot of things which is also called as relationship. So that is something which we are working on seriously. So rebuild relationship and get connected to us as well. We'll be happy helping you and working on it on that. Thank you. Thanks a lot,
Right.
viewers, and thanks, Ankit, for this opportunity. We'll get back again on that.
Thank you so much, Anna. Thank you so much. Please take care.
Thank you. Good day.
All right, guys, that was an amazing conversation. And while all of you are here, I really want to tell one more very important thing to everyone that in the coming weeks, like we have been doing this Where It Goes and learning live in another session, we are also starting one more session which is for small businesses. So if you are a local business or a smaller business and you want to showcase your products or services to audience on Facebook via a live streaming session or something like this, we will be happy to help you. We'll come up with new episodes, every episode with a different business. So if you are a small business and you want to do a live session to reach out to your audience or to our Facebook page audience, please drop in a message to us and we will connect soon in the coming weeks. We'll be doing live session with small businesses. With that, thank you so much. I'll take your leave. We are almost time. So it was an amazing episode. We'll come back next week, Tuesday, with another episode of Where It Goes, interact with another professional and understand how things are going in the industry. Till then, as I always say, सिर्फ दिन ढलना शुरू हुआ है, पूरी रात अभी बाकी है. हम जल्दी वापस मिलेंगे. हमारी बहुत बात अभी बाकी है. We'll keep talking. Be in touch. Please take care. See you. Goodbye.